Alright, you sub-twos, I'm going to show you how to properly set up your Cartesian coordinate plot right here. Alright, so this is question 4 in your worksheet on how to graph linear equations. Now I'm going to send a separate video on how to actually generate your coordinate points. But first I want to show you what you need to do here. First you need to set up an appropriate scale on your x-axis, or how to set up a scale. Now you can do this before or after you've generated your coordinate points, but right now we need to understand the first part, that we have an x-axis, which is our horizontal axis, and a y-axis, which is our vertical axis. This is something that you should already be aware of. Where the axes meet, that's where x and y both equal 0. Now, I can set up my scale as large or as small as I want. The scale is how much my numbers increase from grid point to grid point. So, these lines on here, these units, here's one grid point, here's another grid point, here's another grid point, etc. I need to decide how much I'm going to increase my numbers by when I'm putting them on my graph. And I have to keep the scale consistent. So, for example, I can say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over here on the left side, it's like a number line, -1, -2, -3, -4. Alright, that's a little cramped, it's a little cluttered, I don't really like the look of that. So I could switch this up and I can, instead of writing numbers for every grid point, I can just write, okay, well, here's 1, here's 2, so I'll write 2, and then I'll write 4 here, and then I'll write 6, and over here I'll write -2, -4, -6. Alright, so I can just choose to write every other number, and the same thing with my y-axis, 2, 4, and 6, and 2, 4, and 6. Alright? Now, what I can't do is I can't do this. I can't write, okay, well, this will be 1, 2, and then this will be 10, and this will be 11 here. My scale has to be consistent. I started off by saying, okay, well, 2 grid points is 2, but then the next 2 grid points is now a difference of 8, and then I change it up to 1 again. That's an inappropriate scale. My scale isn't increasing by a consistent amount. Whereas the way we had it before, I'm going to increase by 2 every time I move 2 grid points. So you can have your scale whatever you want. I could have said that this was 50 here, then 100, then 150. Right? I'm increasing by 50 every 2 grid points. That it's consistent. So your scale just needs to be consistent. Alright, so just be aware that these are your x values and these are your y values. And that if I wanted to say graph the coordinate point 2, 4, you need to understand that I have an x value first, then my y value. And what you do is you find where x equals 2, so it's right here, and then where y equals 4. It's right here. So that's my new grid point. This is the point x equals 2, y equals 4. Now I can pick any point right here. This would be where x equals 3 because I've got 1, 2, that's where 3 is right here, and y equals 3. Okay, so that's how you plot coordinate points. And in the next video I'm going to show you how to generate coordinate points from the linear equation.